feelings about my anxiety for an entire year. It just started this free flow of conversation between both of us about my anxiety, about his OCD, about these two things that we didn't know about each other. We thought we knew each other so well, but it wasn't until we opened up about our mental health that we really connected even more. Now we actually have a code name whenever I'm feeling anxious or whenever he's having, his thoughts. It's called Tiffany. It's just like, hey, Tiffany's here. She's freaking here, man. It feels good to be able to label something and put it away in your brain rather than let it become your entire brain in itself. Everybody has some sort of mental health to take care of. It is a part of your health. It's something that you live with, and that's something that you learn to deal with by opening up to people about it. It allowed me to understand myself more as a person, allowed me to accept that it's a part of me rather than pushing it off and saying, no, this isn't me, this isn't me. It's a part of me, and it's something that I'll always live with and deal with, but it doesn't define me.
Queen City is set for round 2, and they will get in for the touchdown. As will kick off. Queen City gets an opening, a big opening. They are off, and we are going to be touchdown Jackets. So just like that, we are nearly knotted back up again. With Queen City sets up again. We're going to have a second touchdown for Queen City. That makes it a 14-6. There we go. Sorry about that. Didn't update.
Oh, there you go.
Handoff. Ball's loose. And we have City. They will get in. It's the touchdown on number 20. And the kick will stay in bounds, but they will, I believe that's going to be a safety. That is that. Or safety. Quarterback. It's down in the end zone. Less than 5 yards from scoring. Queen City with the keeper. He's going to be near the line, and that will increase this to 40. We got a couple backs behind, or cut back behind the quarterback. Keeper, pass, downfield, wide open, and touchdown, Queen City. So that will increase this to a 48-6 lead. Shoes. And that's going to be a quick score from Queen City as the quarterback. Not sure. He's trying to throw it. He evades one sack. Side keeper. It's there, and touchdown. A couple of receivers on either side. Keeper pass, and touchdown. Touchdown, Blue Jackets. Blue Jackets football with Alan Hood Sports Productions. Ball around the 5-yard line. Handoff, Jackets, but he's able to squeeze around, and that one is a touchdown.
Happy International Day of the Girl. We are so grateful that you're here with us today to talk about empowering girls in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math.
In the 4th grade, 2/3 of girls are interested in STEM, but less than 25% of STEM field jobs are filled by women.
You can't be what you can't see. So I never knew that I can be in tech because I never saw any black women in tech.
Every single story is very, very different, and every story is really important to share.
For me, growing up in the 90s, video games is where I found myself, if anything, because I couldn't see like an adventurous Asian girl in the movies and the TV shows that I watched.
Party's gonna get a little slimier, you know what I'm saying? So step on up.
We use science and math in making slime. And then boom, you got slime.
Yeah, we have slime over here.
It's easy. Oh my gosh.
I always loved computer science growing up. I thought it would be kind of cool to learn the future language, which is code.
Other girls online and other people who are my age learning to code made me want to hey, maybe I can do this too.
You go through so much trial and error in your code, and then once you finally get the final product is the most satisfying, relieving part.
You know, a lot of it for me is just about, okay, when I was younger, what did I need to see? The fact that now there's all of you creators who are actually, doing it and inspiring people, and I think that is just so powerful.
Continue teaching because my 9-year-old daughter is watching.
This is like a huge game changer right here. Put yourself out there, tell your story, connect with other young, amazing, powerful young girls out there, and change the world.
This is Alan Hilliard, and we are here with Otis Thompson after the Queen City win over the Missouri Monarchs this last Saturday. And that was the score didn't tell it, but that game was a lot tougher than what the score says it was.
I definitely want to say that. So, people might look at the score and say, hey, a 74 to 32 win is that's a blowout, but that game was mentally and physically tough though. That team, Monarchs shouldn't be slept on like that. I think right now we just got the momentum and we got the drive and we just different. But I would never take nothing away from the Monarchs. That probably was the toughest team I feel like I played, or I feel like as a unit we played, because them boys, they come to play.
Now in a game like that, a lot of times you can choose a player of the game, but really it'd have to be the goal line defense because 5 times, you guys stopped them, and that could have made a big difference in the score.
Yeah, up front, that's what it started with. Our defensive line, that's probably the toughest to me. I remember, you got to think 7 months. The first couple months I was practicing, and we had to go against them boys, and that was that's a headache. That's a headache in practice. You know what I'm saying? So I knew, once they start playing other teams, I was like, I don't think y'all gonna ever see a D line like this. Once if you even remotely even get past them, you still got to deal with our linebacker and our DBs. Our DBs, they like to hit, so they'll come up and make a hit. But if you can get past that D line, that's God really must be carrying your back, because that D line is crucial.
From the moment we met, it felt like we fit. Thank you for showing me what unconditional love looks like.
We are better when we are together. My life feels complete with you in it. Oh.
There's so many rewards in life. You coming into our home was one of the greatest rewards we could have ever had.
You know, it took 20 years, and I got my third child, who was 17 at the time.
After you joined our family, it was like, I really do feel complete now.
It's so cool to watch the adult that you've become, and you really have done as much for us as you think we've done for you.
I ain't never felt so much love before in my life.
Thank you.
This is Alan Hilliard, and I am back, and I am with Ricky Holloway of the Gateway BlueJackets there, and you guys have had a good couple of games here. Can you kind of talk about what changes were made after the week one?
Week one was an eye-opener for us. We traveled light, no excuses, but, we didn't travel with the personnel that we would have liked to have had, but, it was week one, and it was a tough opponent, and, after that we had to work on a lot of things, but, I think we grew after game one and went into week two with a better attitude, worked together a little bit better, more personnel second game, and, we just got to reset after something like that and focus on the overall goal, and that's just to come home with a win every time. So,
all right, and coming in after a couple good weeks there, kind of what are you doing to prepare for the rematch of week one, really? But this time you're going to be in St. Louis.
Right. So, again, back to personnel. It's a home game, in this league it's tough when you're traveling. Your first three games are travel games. It's hard taking a lot of people on the road. Everybody's got lives outside of football, and, people got work and families. So that comes first before anything, and that's kind of what Coach preaches is just, take care of family business and work life and be ready to play when your time's up. But going into next Saturday, we have prepared quite a bit. We know our opponent now a little bit better than we did week one. And they're no pushovers, you can tell. They put up numbers. They got a good club. They got numbers. They have everything you pretty much look for in a football club. And we're taking them on at home. We have a bigger roster this time around. We're in a familiar area. We're at home, and, we're comfortable, and they're not going to be. So we're just ready. We're ready a lot more than we were week one. And everything's leading up to this moment, so we're looking forward to it.
All right, and kind of what's your background in football, high school and college-wise, and other teams you played for?
So after high school, I took quite a long break from football, and it found me about 9 or 10 years after high school. I wasn't an all-star player by any means in high school. I just, I played because it was what you did in a small town, and wrestled for 3 or 4 years in high school, played 3 or 4 years in high school, and took a break, and, grew my family and just worked. And then football found me later in life at like 28, and a local team, the Missouri Bears, was formed, first-year team, semi-pro, and that was 11-man out of Winsville. And there's a lot of good talent on that team. And I just kind of played because I wanted something for my kids to look up to me for, and just entertainment. And I've always been a guy that can't sit still. I always have to be doing something. So I was like, why not put the pads back on and see if you still got it? So I did that. I had fun. Luckily didn't get hurt, and kind of convinced myself that I wasn't going to play again. I just wanted to, put the pads back on for a year, and I fulfilled that dream of mine, and then took a break for a little bit, and football found me. Once again, I was getting lazy on the couch, and one of the players from the Gateway BlueJackets, Brett Goki, reached out to me and said, we're forming an 8-man team, and, we could use some guys like you, some quick guys, and I said, why not, man? So here I am about a year after that, and almost middle of the season. So
what kind of advice do you have for some of these, junior high school kids that, they're not, the best players in the world, they're not heavily recruited by colleges? Kind of what advice do you have for them for, if they want to continue to play after high school, but they're not, they're not getting the big attention there if they want to?
Yeah, I mean, I say it's never too late to do anything you care about or anything you want to do. You just have to go out and find, the right people, surround yourself with the right environment, and put in the work. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're not working towards what you want, you're never going to get there. And if you're just sitting on the couch and waiting for things to fall into your lap, that's never going to happen. A lot of kids out there get overlooked, and a lot of them have a lot more talent than the next guy, and it's unfortunate, but some of them just kind of fizzle out because they feel like if they didn't get their shot in the league, or colleges didn't recruit them, then they're done for. But semi-pro and amateur football is a way for guys to kind of relive their days and potentially get seen again. They're putting up some crazy stats, and they're on a good team that's getting noticed, then there is always another chance for you. But me personally, that's not why I'm here. I'm here to just have fun, play the sport that I love, and be thankful that I'm still able to wake up and do it, and hopefully bring some leadership to the table while I'm at it, because that's kind of just the person I've always been. I just want to help out when I can and if I can. So that's where I'm at with all this.
And you talk about, team-wise, especially, basketball, you only have 5 players normally on the court, but football, with 8 players, one running back can't block for himself. The quarterback can't block the defensive line. So how important is that to build a team together going into games?
I mean, everybody has their responsibilities on the field, and if one person slips up and doesn't do the responsibility, oftentimes you see plays fall apart. And that's key going into 8-man. Everybody has to be on top of their game in their position and doing what their responsibility is every single snap. If you're not, it's noticed. It's easily noticed because there's less people out there. There's 6 less players on the field every time. And if you drop the ball, it's easily noticeable. So we just kind of drilled into our guys' head, know your responsibilities and play 100% every down. And that's really all you can ask for, especially in 8-man, because it's fast-paced, it's a smaller field, and it's, there's a lot more mistakes that can be made, in my opinion. So, yeah, you just got to rely on each other, that each other's going to do what they're supposed to do, and support each other when you don't. Get back out there and have short memory. Always think about the next play, so.
All right, and thanks a lot for talking with me. I will see you this Saturday up in St. Louis as you guys have your rematch at 3 p.m. against the Insane Asylum. So have a good week and enjoy.
Thanks, Alan. Appreciate your time, man. Have a good one.
I'm staying inside for all of our at-risk loved ones, my grandparents, your grandparents,
my friends and family, and for you.
We stay here for you. Stay home for us.
You need to stay smart. You need to stay home.
Staying at home, social distancing, all these things that CDC is saying is going to help us get over this quicker.
Every infection that we can prevent helps to keep us as providers safe, helps to keep you as a member of the public safe.
I am staying home to help slow the spread.
Do your part in making this go away.
Stay home.
In order to come together, we must stay apart.
It sounds contradictory, but it makes a lot of sense.
Okay. Tell me you love me.
The first thing that I will do,
go dancing with my friends.
I'm going to hug my kids' teachers and tell them how much I appreciate them.
Stay home.
Stay home for us.
We only had, I think, 5 bigs. Yeah. So we went down there, 17, 18 guys, and only had like I said, 5 bigs, and we kept running into like injury or exhaustion. And the coolest thing about it was our bigs, we came together, and we knew coach was busy because he's only one man, coaching the entire team. So what we did, we took it upon ourselves ourselves. We're just like, hey, if you're gassed, come off the field. I'm going to let you know when I'm gassed. And we had a really good relationship working there. And even we went down, we lost Anthony McMiller for a little while in the first half, and we lost Alfred Baines for a little while too. He was injured too. And we were down to just 3 guys going both ways, offense and defense. And then we had some of the smaller guys who usually play backers helping out on line and stuff. And to win through that and get the score that we did, to me, says a lot. When you only have 3 big men and you're just working with what you got. And that right there is awesome.
So kind of what's your football background, high school, and like where'd you play college, and what other experience have you had?
I played in high school. I was very small. I was only 5'6", 160 pounds. I couldn't even bench 160 pounds. I was this tiny little guy. So I only played a little bit here and there, but played defensive end a little bit. Played a little bit of tight end, and played a little bit of center for like long snapping in certain situations, and maybe some special teams. Then playing that for 4 years in high school, went to basically right out of high school, went to college for a year and decided to join the Army afterwards. So I never got to play in college because I just went and served in the U.S. Army. And then after I went to overseas, I deployed to Afghanistan and just started lifting a lot. And then I shot up at like 20 years old, gained like 3 inches of height, through that whole period, through like the military period. And then I just kind of filled out and everything. And I'm like, all right, well, now that I got the body for it, might as well start playing football. And that was about 9-10 years ago. I started playing for the Gateway Hawks with Dave and Mary Rocha. I don't know if you ever heard of them. They're pretty they're pretty well known in the semi-pro circuit. And that's what started my semi-pro career, is starting with them. I was playing fullback and defensive end, and then I played for the Missouri Bears for a year, played with the Wildcats for 3 years, played with the Missouri Cyclones for 3 years, just kind of bounced around from league to league. And once I found this indoor team, or what was supposed to be indoor before coronavirus, I was like, oh yeah, this is much more my speed, especially when we're running half the field and half the distance. That was much more my style. Much less running.
So how was a transition going from in high school being used to 11-man to, kind of less players essentially?
It's different. I mean, it's such a small field, so you're working with such a more of a confined space, and it's just a completely different animal. I will say it just seems a lot faster because you have to be in these confined spaces. You don't have a place stretching out to either side as much. You don't have this giant room to work with. Here it's just a lot different, and the line seems just, I don't know. It's with this confined space, you're forced to battle more with your hands inside. You can't just beat them with speed. I mean, you can, but man, you're going to let up a lot of inside runs with that, especially at defensive end. But it's been a huge, huge difference. I like it because it's, less of a field and less to, keep the edge. So I do like that aspect.
Okay. And so kind of what have you done? Because, the first week you guys were still kind of getting together for your first game. You've got, 3 wins in a row under your belt now, and kind of what kind of changes have you done to get ready for this weekend?
This weekend coming up, well, we tested the waters our first game against Queen City. We realized 2 things. 1, they're a big team. There's a lot of big boys there. And 2, they have numbers. They're deep. They got a lot of numbers, and they stay fresh on the field. So what we have to do is we've been prepping on conditioning mostly and just getting better at that, because that's what's going to win the game, especially if we don't have the numbers. Honestly, I truly believe that if we have the numbers, I think it's going to be a much more evenly matched game, and it's going to be an absolute knockdown drag out of a game if we have, full numbers and, fresh legs and rotation and everything else. So we're just remembering that, hey, this Queen City team, they got a great run game, and we got to shut down the middle and shut down the line. And, that's in the box, we have to dominate in the box. So that's kind of what we're focusing on as far as defense.
And what would you say for one of those 5'6" players in high school that, what kind of advice would you give them if they want to keep on playing football?
For one of those guys, because that was me. I was that little itty bitty guy. I was essentially the Rudy of our football team. What I would say to them is keep grinding, and if you really want to get serious about it, get in the weight room. If 5'6" is all you're going to be, which maybe it is, maybe it isn't. If you grow, great. Then that just expands your doors of opportunity of where you could play. But as far as if you're just going to stay 5'6", get in the gym, get quick, and just be stout. Because if you have the strength out there, it's going to be great. If you can put on speed on top of that, if you can be 5'6", maybe 220, or probably about 210, and you can run at like a 4.9 40. There's a lot of places you could play. I mean, London Fletcher himself, he was only 5'9". He's a little guy, and he was awesome. I would say to keep grinding and don't stop. Don't stop grinding if you're 5'6" and you're that little guy, because one day things are going to change, and you just have to remember when you're working towards it is just remember that little guy. Remember what you were. Just keep grinding.
All right, and thanks a lot, and we will see you Saturday in St. Louis against the Insane Asylum.
It's going to be a great game. Thank you.
So I was a dancer for 20 years. We had a contract change in the show, and it was time to look for something else. I barely made it through high school, and I didn't go to college, so I enrolled in a 2-year RN program. I had no idea that I'd be able to juggle my family, my kids, a job. Sometimes I don't know how I did it, but I love working in the neonatal ICU. I get to be this incredible part of a family for a small amount of time. I get connected, and they feel like my babies and my family. I would say go for it. Just go try. You will find something new.
And this is Alan Hilliard. I am back with a fresh change of clothes again. If you're keeping track, this is number 3 or 4. I lost count. But I am with Caleb Scott, the owner of the Queen City Insane Asylum there. And so you've had a pretty tough couple weeks here, and you're going from one tough game to another. Kind of how is that preparing you to come into this contest against Gateway?
So the Gateway BlueJackets are a talented football team from a area like St. Louis where they have a lot of talent to pull from. Coming off this win we just had this weekend against the Missouri Monarchs, we played a really physical football game. We were excited to come out with a win, but we also saw a lot of things that we needed to work on as a team. Tonight at our practice, we'll be able to install some new packages and kind of address some issues that we felt like we had against the Monarchs, to be able to hopefully put some so that when we play a talented football team like Gateway BlueJackets, we're more able to answer all the things that they throw at us.
All right, and obviously coming into this contest, there's kind of a rivalry developing here. The first week, both teams were kind of getting things together. This week, you're in St. Louis, and the Jackets are coming off a 3-game streak. How has that changed things overall?
So, yeah, anytime a team travels, there's always the difficulty of not playing in front of your home crowd. And so we hope that the Blue Jackets have a great home crowd that they feel comfortable playing in front of. And we hope that our team travels well. Anytime in semi-pro football, you always hope that the away team travels well as far as bringing their team and all their intricate players and coaching staff to be able to run the organization on the road just as well as they run it at home. And I think that we've got a good group and a good game plan to be able to compete with the Blue Jackets and all that they have here at Rams Park when we play them on Saturday at 3 p.m.
Okay, and finally, kind of what are your three keys to coming out on top this week?
Okay, 3 key tops. So number 1, we want to play a smart football game, mentally sound. We always encourage our guys to be prepared for anything. If anybody throws a heavy run game, a heavy pass game, whatever comes at you, to be mentally prepared for everything. So we watch film, we talk through different scenarios, anything that we can to prepare guys. Number two, we want to be more physical than the team that we show up against. So we ask that our offensive line, our defensive line start in the trenches, and that they give a very hard and aggressive pursuit from the beginning that transfers all the way back to our secondary and all the way back to our quarterback and running backs. And then the third thing is we ask that we play with class. Like, no matter what happens, at the end of the day, we know that we are men that go home to our families, to our jobs, to our responsibilities. And we want to know that when we leave the field, whether it be ours or the home team that's hosting us, that we leave as men of high character, high class, that we leave with integrity, and that we treat the opposing team with as much respect as we deserve ourselves.
And good luck this Saturday, and I will see you up there.
You can't sit here.
Don't add her to the chain.
It was just a joke.
We're not friends.
Why are you talking to me?
You started it.
She's so gross.
Lame. Loser.
Weirdo.
I've said and done things before that I'm not proud of.
Just as I've been hurt by others.
The thing is, this is not who I am. And it's definitely not who I want to be.
I don't want to be cruel. I don't want to spread gossip.
I don't want to be a body shamer.
I don't want to exclude anyone.
I don't want to make anyone feel lonely,
left out, hurt.
We have the power to be more.
We can create a kinder world.
It's not that hard.
We just need to stop.
Take a moment and consider others before we speak.
And before we act.
Be more.
Be more.
Be more.
Welcome here to North County in St. Louis, Missouri, in Earth City, as we are here at the former home of the St. Louis Rams and Battlehawks. This is the Leaf Youth Training Center now, a great soccer complex. The Queen City Insane Asylum will be facing off against the Gateway BlueJackets for the second meeting of this time, but the first time these teams have met up here in St. Louis. So we will be back after team captains here in just a moment.